right. Hello, everybody. It is a special Christmas edition of Paranormal. I'm Rachel, and co-host here is.
I'm Kaz. Ho, ho, ho.
So, yeah, I can't believe it's Christmas already.
I know. I know.
Where did the last 12 months go?
That's all I have to say. I have no idea.
Yeah,
I honestly don't know.
It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. So, yeah, this episode will air a few days before Christmas.
Exciting.
No, how crazy is that? And then,
Oh.
yeah, and then the big man in the red freaking suit's gonna come and yeah.
Yeah, hopefully. Maybe
The
not
only
to all
time-
you boys and girls. It depends if you've been good or not.
Yeah, the only time that you let strangers into your house by letting them break in.
Yeah. I don't even think you let him. You're just like, whatever. Sure.
Yeah, he just shows up.
Yeah. He's coming whether or not, I guess.
Exactly. All right. So today's episode's all about, the creepy side of Christmas. And surprisingly, it's not all snowmen and reindeer.
No. And plump men coming down your chimney and putting presents under your tree.
Yeah, exactly. No stockings. Well, no, wait, there might have been stockings.
Oh, there's probably stockings.
Yeah.
Probably being strangled around someone's neck, though.
Yeah, more than likely. Good old Victorian Christmases. Oh my gosh. But yeah. So Victorian Christmases were, like we said, they weren't just, Christmas trees and
no.
And
it was pretty sinister.
Yeah. It was
a little bit more so than Halloween, I think.
Yeah. I agree.
Which is quite funny.
It is. And when you think about it, like ghost stories and stuff were a big part of Christmas, because what the heck else were you going to do in the dark?
Exactly. Well, I think another big part of it is people start reminiscing, like grandma and grandpa are here to do whatever. And then it turns into remembering them, and then maybe into some grief, and then into stories of them. And then maybe they turn sinister. And then it just goes into, let's just talk about creepy ghost stories.
Oh, yeah.
On this joyous night.
Yeah. And I was also reading too about it. It was like when it started to get dark out, they didn't have the luxury of, turning the TV on and watching a Christmas movie. And a lot of the times, the weather was so awful that no one was going outside. So they literally sat around the fire, like they sat around their hearth, and they just told creepy stories, because what else, right? And
exactly.
Yeah, and the song, the most wonderful time of the year?
Yeah.
Yeah, it talks about, ghost stories by the fire, right?
I know. And
isn't it funny about it?
It's funny how we all sing these songs but never actually delve into the lyrics of them.
Yeah.
Because it's a really interesting. I'm like, no, it doesn't. And then I'm singing it in my head and I'm like,
yeah, it does.
Why have I never clued into that before?
Yeah.
I know. And in the Renaissance times, so like 14 to 1700s, it was like a 12-day thing. So it started Christmas Eve, and then every night for the next 12 nights, they would talk about the most hauntedest, scariest stories. I don't know what the significance of the 12 nights.
I don't know. Now they
after
just
Christmas,
but the 12 days of Christmas.
Exactly, but that's like leading up to Christmas. This is like Christmas Eve and then after. So I don't know. And they do.
We should bring it back.
Yeah. Well, I'd rather do the Victorian one where they just have it on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
I mean, I love a good ghost story, but maybe not for 12 nights. But it is.
Listen, if we could do a 12-night stay at a haunted place, we'd probably do it.
100%.
Yeah.
Depending where, because a couple of them we've been out real quick.
That's true.
If we did like 12 different stays, in different that let's do it next
You know how
year.
tired we would be at the end of that?
Yep. The last one, the very last one, the ghost would appear. We'd be like, you know what? Fuck off, dude. I'm too tired.
Well, give a whole new meaning to The Walking Dead,
Yeah.
because that's what we would look like after 12 days.
The dead would walk in and be like, whoa.
Are we living
Never
or
mind.
they are dead?
Exactly. You guys look like shit. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So let's get like right into like these creepy stories, and or even just stories like ghosts at Christmas. And obviously everybody knows the most Christmassy ghost story ever is A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, right?
Yes.
So if you haven't heard about The Christmas Carol from Charles Dickens, I don't know where you've been for the last
I know.
years.
Or like what school did not do that play every single Christmas?
Well, and not even that. It's like how many different movies are there of this particular story? The best one is
the
Muppets
Christmas Carol. I love it. Love it. It is 100% the best one.
Yes, that is the best one. The best one.
Oh my God.
That's amazing. See, great minds think alike.
Yeah. True story. I don't know what grade I would have been, maybe grade 6. I played the ghost of Christmas present. You're welcome. I had 2 lines and it was like, I see an empty chair by a fire, a crutch without an owner. And that was my line. There you go.
And you still remember that. That's pretty
impressive. I do. I think I was talking about Tiny Tim being dead. There you go.
Listen, there is nothing more sadder than watching a little tiny frog with a crippling disability.
Oh my God. Oh, it's so amazing.
I know.
And the fact that Miss Piggy is his mom, and there's like 3 pig sisters and then the frog. Yeah. It all makes sense, people.
Poor little guy's outnumbered.
Yep. Anyway. That was a great movie. I'm going to watch that now.
Oh my gosh. So the original book was published on December 19th, 1843. So yeah, wow. It's an old one. Yeah, for sure. It's not the oldest, but it is an old one. And again, for those of you who've never read it or never seen the movie or have no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert. It recounts the story of a man named Ebenezer Scrooge. He's just some old fart who's he is miserable. He hates the world. He loves his money. But he is visited by the ghost of his former business partner on Christmas Eve. And he's pretty much told that if he doesn't change his ways, a lot of bad things are going to happen and it's just not going to work out for him. So he's told he's going to be visited by 3 ghosts: the ghost of Christmas past, the ghost of Christmas present, and the ghost of Christmas yet to come. So, yeah, he freaks out, let's just say. Doesn't believe. And then he starts getting visited by these Christmas ghosts. So the first one takes him back to his, boyhood, shows him, how lonely it was, shows him where he started, neglecting things. So like he was set to be married, and his fiance left him because he was more in love with money than with her. And yeah, so that's the first part. And then the second part is he's visited the ghost of Christmas present, which kind of shows him what's going on, Yeah.
AKA enter Kaz.
And then like the ghost of Christmas present shows him like what's happening now. So like, his employee, Bob Cratchit, shows him how, he's struggling with his family and his son's disability, because he's pretty much got an illness or something, even though I don't understand how being crippled is an illness, but I think it's actually tuberculosis.
Yeah, or like rickets or something. I don't know.
Yeah. And then he shows the ghost of Christmas yet to come comes about and shows Scrooge, Ebenezer Scrooge, shows him a death of a man who wasn't very well liked, and kind of like shows how I was gonna say, where are you going?
I know. I was just trying to move the light a little, and instead everything just just went.
Kaz is going to the down below.
Exactly.
So the ghost of Christmas yet to come shows him like all of this death and everything. So the death of a man that wasn't very liked. It shows, an empty chair at Bob Cratchit's house, which indicates the death of, Tiny Tim, as he's called. And it turns out that the death of the man that wasn't well liked is actually supposed to be him. So when Scrooge wakes up, the next morning, he decides he's a changed man and he's, going to change all his ways. So I guess, yeah, that's pretty much A Christmas Carol. Like, here I am. I've got my notes in front of me, but I'm just playing the Muppets Christmas Carol in my head.
I know. You can't not. It's a great show. It's a great show. So I highly recommend everyone go watch it.
Yeah.
After this podcast, then you go watch it. Don't pause us to do that.
Yeah, and then tell us how much you don't like it afterwards, because there's
we don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that kind of negativity.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to like it.
Mm-hmm. So
it's
the next
story. It's told many, many different times with many, many different people, and it can get really scary. Like the ghost of Christmas Yet to Come is freaking terrifying in the Muppets Christmas
like
Carol.
The Grim Reaper.
Oh my god! And like in most of them, it's fairly scary. I think Mickey Mouse does A Christmas Carol as well, the animated version. That one's not as scary, but yeah, the one I'm just pre-warning everyone. The Muppets Christmas Carol, it gets scary. So if you might want to.
In the Muppets Christmas Carol, the ghost of Christmas Past is actually quite terrifying too. That little baby, like, weird thing.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's like a demon, maybe.
With the ghost of Christmas Yet to Come than the first one, but I'll deal with them all.
Yeah. Well, it's still a good movie. Go watch it. We endorse this message.
So the next creepy story that is on this list is called The Kit Bag, and it's by Algernon Blackwood. He was an English broadcasting narrator, journalist, and novelist, and he is among the most prolific ghost story writers in the history of the genre.
Ooh, quite a title.
I know. Okay. He's done a lot of books. So The Kit Bag was written in 1908. And it's a short ghost story. And it was first published in December. So pretty much the gist of this story is that it takes place in London shortly before Christmas. The story's protagonist is a young man named Johnson who works for an eminent lawyer named William Wilbraham, because we're getting really, or Arthur Wilbraham. Oh my gosh, I said that wrong. Arthur has been defending a man named John Turk, who was accused of murdering a woman and cutting her body up into small pieces.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, that's such a Christmas story.
Isn't it? Oh.
So Johnson is obliged to be in court for every day of the trial, which he finds highly unpleasant. When the trial is over, Johnson is glad that he will not have to see John Turk's face again and is looking forward to going away on a Christmas vacation in the Alps. He asks Arthur to lend him a kit bag to take with him on vacation. After the requested kit bag arrives, Johnson passes a fright-filled night. So God knows what's in that kit bag. I'm starting to think it's body parts.
Yeah. Yikes.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd want to read that. That's pretty gruesome. Kind of reminds me of Jack the Ripper.
Yeah. I just have to point out, a lot of these gruesome ones are all English terms. I don't know what's going on. The English people, we're weird. Because even the ones I have are from England. So
yeah, they are. Because, Charles Dickens is English. Algernon Blackwood's English. This, the other people on my list, also English.
Yeah.
British.
We're just a morbid bunch. That's all I have to say.
Apparently. So then there's this other book called Smee, not freaking pirate. There's a lot of people ask where they're going to go. Peter Pan.
Yeah.
It was written by Alfred McLellan Burrage. Again, a British writer. He was noted in his time as an author of fiction for boys.
Ooh. Okay.
He is now remembered. Today, he is now remembered mainly for his horror fiction.
All right.
So this was written in 1931, and it is a ghost story about a group of friends that gather in a remote country house during the Christmas season and decides to play a game called Smee, a variation of hide and seek. As the game unfolds, the atmosphere becomes increasingly eerie, and the participants experience unsettling encounters with an unseen presence. The tension builds as the friends realize that an extra, mysterious player seems to have joined their game, leading to a haunting revelation that blurs the lines between the living and the spectral.
All right.
That sounds kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But it also reminds, and I think they've done a lot of movies on this too.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think all of these have been turned into movies at some point.
Yeah. I don't know. The kit bag, maybe, but that's a little more gruesome. Santa's sack has got some body parts in it, apparently. So.
Yeah. Even this next one is like gruesome too. It's just like, what? So the next one is The Turn of the Screw. It's by Henry James, and it was actually written in 1898.
Mm-hmm.
So Henry James, he was an American-British author. So he's got a little American blood in him. He is regarded as a key transitionalist figure between literary realism and modernism, and is considered by many to be among the great novelists in the English language.
Ooh.
I know. So this is a gothic horror novel. Surprise. It follows a governess who, caring for two children at a remote country house. Why does everything take place at a remote country house?
That's just the backdrop for everything. I mean, look at Hinsdale House. That's the perfect backdrop because there's nothing around. I'm going to hear you scream.
That's true. Except for the lady up the street that drinks with a gun.
Shotgun. Who's like, stop screaming. Kapow.
Yeah. So it follows a governess who is caring for two children at a remote country house and becomes convinced that they are haunted. So on Christmas Eve, an unnamed narrator and some of his friends are gathered around a fire. And one of them, Douglas, reads a manuscript written by his sister's late governess. The manuscript tells the story of her being hired by a man who has become responsible for his young niece and nephew following the deaths of their parents. So it's a very young woman's first job. She is the governess for two weirdly beautiful, strangely distant, oddly silent children.
What a description.
I know. It's good. Oh, and
oddly beautiful.
Their names are Miles and Flora, and she's taking care of them at a forlorn estate.
Okay.
An estate haunted by a beckoning evil. Half-seen figures who glare from dark towers and dusty windows. Silent, foul phantoms who, day by day, night by night, come closer and closer. With growing horror, the helpless governess realizes the fiendish creatures want the children, seeking to corrupt their bodies, possess their minds, own their souls.
What?
This is some good descriptive words.
Oh my
but
gosh.
Much worse, the governess discovers that Miles and Flora have no terror of the lurking evil, for they want the walking dead as badly as the dead want them. Dun, dun, dun.
Wow. Where are these children's parents? That this woman's all
well,
the way
these,
in the
these
nowhere.
children's parents are dead.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I thought she was just the nanny, and they were like, "Yeah, you can."
Well, she is. She's a governess. Like the uncle took them in and is not raising them. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I know. Like, people used to talk about these stories. Like, are you kidding me? Like, they read these to your children at Christmas?
Yeah, apparently, because us English people, why not? Hey kids, want to hear a good story before you go to bed? Let me tell you the story about the beautiful children that got murdered for their souls and their bodies.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So
But
that was
yeah,
my childhood.
those are like novels, like stories actually written for people to
Yeah.
read and share. But there's more than just that. Like there's actual real ghost stories, right? Like
Oh, when I was researching this, there's a whole bunch of volumes of books that you can get to sit and read at Christmas time. Let the tradition start.
oh my gosh. Yeah, so like one of these like real ghost stories is the ghost of Anne Boleyn. So
Yeah.
again, if you don't know your history, shame on you. But and if you haven't heard of the new musical, was it Six or whatever it's called? Yeah.
You're looking at the wrong person. Musical?
Yeah.
I don't
It's
know.
all about the 6 wives of Henry VIII. Anne Boleyn was one of them. So we're going back to the 1500s here. She was the Queen of England from 1533 to 1536 as the second wife of Henry VIII. They married in 1533 after a secret wedding. On September 7th, she gave birth to the future Queen Elizabeth I. Henry was disappointed to have a daughter. He wanted a son. And then she subsequently had 3 miscarriages. And by 1536, her husband was looking at someone else.
Yikes.
Yeah, he was a bit of an ass. So at that point, Henry had Anne investigated for high treason. She was arrested. She was sent to the Tower of London. Again, we're in freaking
Yes,
the
of
UK.
course we're in
We're in
England.
England. And she was tried before a jury, and she was convicted and then beheaded 4 days after her conviction. Yeah, not only was she charged with treason, there were other charges which included adultery, incest with her brother, and plotting to kill the king.
Wow.
What a time to be alive in 15.
Right? And they're shitty. So you marry the king and you're like, I got it set. I'm done. I don't have to do anything the rest of my life. And then all you got to do is produce a male heir. Not so easy.
No, apparently
Dang.
not. So there's a castle over in somewhere over there. I don't know exactly where it is. You might know. Hever Castle.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is where Anne spent half of her childhood. It is also where her and her husband to be, so Henry VIII at the time, spent many hours courting. They would often be seen sitting underneath a large oak tree, hand in hand. So, with all the fond memories that Anne had of this place, it's no wonder that her ghost is often seen on the grounds and in the halls of Hever Castle. So, a large portion of these sightings happen around Christmas time. Apparently, this time of the year was Anne's favorite time of the year. And they say it's most likely that her spirit is staying at the happiest place where she had all these beautiful memories. However, she's been seen a lot of other places too. She's been seen at like the Tower of London.
Yeah.
She's been seen all over. So, but she's seen at Hever Castle around this time of year because it's Christmas.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I don't know why you'd come around at Christmas time, but I guess.
I don't know.
Who knows?
Maybe
there's more. I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah.
That she would be around at Christmas. Sorry, I'm just keying in to get the date of something. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay. So I've got actually some like famous people deaths on Christmas Day.
Ooh.
Some of them will shock you. So Charlie Chaplin died December 25th, 1977. I didn't know he was that late into the decade. But anyway, um, Dean Martin died on Christmas Day in 1995. John Benet Ramsey was murdered on Christmas Day in 1996. James Brown died on Christmas Day, and George Michael died on Christmas Day.
Oh yeah, I
There's
remember that one.
there's quite a few famous people, but these were like the most famouses that I could find. But it was a lot of people dying Christmas Day.
It's so strange.
That's so selfish. I got to do the turkey and I got to make sure everything's timed and then you go ahead and die. Thanks a lot. But yeah, I was shocked with those. I didn't know George Michael died. I thought he died in the summer, but I guess not.
No, I remember it was Christmas.
What a shame.
Yeah, I remember that one.
So I have a couple of stories, surprise, surprise, mostly from England. And they're kind of folklore, but they've been around for hundreds of years. So we'll get into it. So the first is called the Mistletoe Bride. This is based in Bramshill House, Hampshire, in England. This is to do with Lord Lovell. I don't know if I say it right. He was to wed a young maiden, Miss Cope. Her dad owned the Bramshill House. So their engagement was kind of around Christmas time. So the house was decorated for Christmas with a lot of mistletoe, and it sparked a fun game of go hide and seek. And so the young bride to be said, I'll go hide, and whoever finds me gets to kiss me. So all of the groomsmen got to chase her around the house and find her. I'll go look for her, I suppose. And so off they went, and they were all looking for her. And after a few minutes, they were like, wow, she's really good at this. And then after an hour, they were like, okay, it's not fun anymore. And then that turned into hours and hours, and that turned into days and weeks. And then they just never found her. And fast forward 50 years, when some people are cleaning the house and they find this huge chest in the attic. And when they open it, they find a skeleton dressed in a bride's dress. And they believe it to be this young lady. And what they think happened is she climbed into the chest thinking, this is a great hiding spot. And when it closed, it latched. And she couldn't get back out. And because it was a big, huge, heavy wooden chest, it muffled her screams and she suffocated.
That's awful.
I choked.
Oh my God.
And what's crazy is no one thought to look in there. I don't know. Like, wouldn't you really turn that place? Talked about. I felt like they were just like, listen, bitch, you're hiding and it's been a long time and done. So. But no one found her. And so she is now said to haunt this place, which I believe is actually like a place you can go check out. And she's usually in her bride's dress, and usually around Christmas time is when she appears the most, looking, I guess, for the people that left her. Left her unread because she was just too good at that game.
Oh my gosh.
Which is ridiculous.
The ultimate hide and seek champion.
It's not funny, but it kind of is. It's just funny that no one bothered to like really look. I wouldn't just be like, oh, I didn't find her, I guess. Whatever. We'd be like, she could have gone anywhere else. Like, where did this lady go? 50 years. No one bothered to look in the attic, in the chest. No wonder she's still haunting. She's pissed. Now the second one, this is like one of my most favorite stories. In fact, the picture, which is a very famous photograph of this ghost, is one of the first pictures I remember in like a ghost book or something that I absolutely loved. And it may have been the reason I sit here before you today, because I was totally infatuated with it. So this is the Brown Lady of Raynham Hall, again, in England. So this is all about a his name was Charles Townsend. He married this young woman. Her name was Dorothy Walpole. Walpole? Sure. And he was very much in love with her, but I think because she was young, he was always a little skeptical and jealous. And over the years, it started driving him absolutely bonkers that she was cheating on him and he was just getting really jealous.
Mhm.
So in the end, he locked her away in their house in the Raymond Hall, and did not allow her out. And he just told people that she died. So they never bothered to come looking. And if anyone came by, she was locked up in sort of one of the upstairs rooms. And eventually she did die because she was just never allowed to go out and do anything. And so her spirit now famously haunts this place, and many, many people have seen her. And in, I think, sort of the mid-ish 1900s, there was a famous photographer for magazine. He went there to take some pictures for the architecture because it's a stunning place. And this is one of, I think, the most famous pictures of a possible apparition. And it's of this beautiful staircase, and right in the middle is this woman in a dress. It's like a see-through figure coming down the stairs. It's been scrutinized multiple times. But back then, there was no way you could fake photographs, really, like how it is today. There was no
The only way would be
So,
double exposure back then.
Exactly. And I
That's
mean,
a whole
you would
other
be like-
topic.
the funniest one, I think, was they were like, "Oh, it's a stain on the stairs." What? It's like a figure.
That's a
Anyway,
great thing.
so she now famously haunts this place. And I think she comes around Christmas time because that was the only time that it was like nice in the house. And there's times she was stuck up in one of the rooms upstairs. So that's a sad and lovely story. And then I have one other classic Christmas story to tell you all about. This one, surprisingly, does not take place in England. It takes place in the United States. So this involves a policeman, and he's visiting his estranged wife and their two daughters on Christmas Eve. And so he joins her at a holiday Christmas party that he's not really excited to go to. But he goes there. It's actually her business, and he has to go there and be part of it, and he sucks. But anyways, he starts kind of trying to enjoy himself, and then all of a sudden a group of terrorists more or less interrupt the party and start killing people and trying to hold them hostage and all this stuff. And he climbs through ductwork and he goes all over the place. And his famous ghostly catchphrase is, I think, EPKA motherfuckers, maybe something like that. Anyways, his name is John McClane, and it is a classic Christmas horror movie. There's a few of them because he comes back many times to haunt these places, I guess. So yeah,
ductwork, I tell you.
It's great. I highly recommend you watch it as the Christmas classic that it is. Either 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. I think there might even be a 6 and 7. But either way, the first one's probably the best. But it is a classic Christmas horror movie.
We'll leave it at that, because if you know what it is, you need to post it in the comments.
Exactly. It is one of the all-time, this is true, most watched Christmas movies.
Yeah. Just, Oh my God.
So there you go. There you go.
That's hilarious. That's a great one to end on for that. But I'm going to go into something even just a little bit creepier. So we have all like these ghost stories and stuff. And now we're going to get to the semi-creepy elemental, folklore side of Christmas, because this is the stuff they used to use to scare the pants off of children into behaving properly.
I love it.
We need to still do it today.
Yeah. This Elf on the Shelf bullshit needs to get sinister.
Yeah.
Elf on the Shelf needs to have like a shank or something and be like, get in bed. Just sit him
Like they
outside
have
the
all the
kids'
other ones.
rooms.
Doll in the hall. Just move that doll around all night long. Your kids will never act out again.
Amazing.
See?
Where we're gonna market that right now.
Doll in the hall.
I love it. It's perfect.
Oh my gosh. So I found this one. And again, you know what? A lot of this stuff doesn't even come from Britain or the UK or even the Americas.
No.
So the first one I have is called the Yule Lads. Now I was reading all these ones and they got some really interesting names. So this is an Icelandic Christmas folklore. So it depicts mountain-dwelling characters and monsters who come to town during Christmas. So again, this story's
I'm sorry.
Look, you had a reaction to it.
I did. I'm like, what? Oh, I feel another one coming on. Just
It's okay.
talk amongst yourselves.
So these stories, again, are directed at children and are used to scare them into good behavior. So the folklore includes mischievous pranksters who leave gifts at night and monsters who eat disobedient children.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the Yule Lads are a group of 13 mischievous pranksters who steal from or harass the population and all have descriptive names that convey their favorite way of harassing.
Oh, dear Lord.
So they come to town one by one during the last 13 nights of Yule. They leave. So if people don't know what Yule is, it's Christmas season. It's pagan. They leave small gifts and shoes that children have placed on windowsills, but if the child has been disobedient, they leave a rotten potato.
Oh, that's not so bad. I think it'd be like they shit in their shoes or whatever.
Yeah, well, pretty much at that point, you're leaving a rotten potato. You might as well just shit in there too.
Oh, that's true.
The Yule Lads were originally portrayed as kidnappers of children who misbehaved during the Christmas season, along with their usual prankster activities. So, but in modern times, they've been depicted in more of a benevolent role, comparable to Santa Claus and other related figures. They are generally portrayed as wearing late medieval Icelandic clothing, but are sometimes shown in the costume traditionally worn by Santa Claus.
Oh.
So each Yule Lad arrives individually. They stays for a visit of 13 days, starting December 12th. So once the first lad departs on Christmas Day, the rest follow suit each day all the way up until January 6th. So I couldn't read the Icelandic translation, so I had to find the English one because I can't read Icelandic. So the first one that comes on December 12th, his name is Sheep Caught Claude. He harasses sheep, but is impaired by his stiff peg legs. You're getting this mental picture now. Yeah, this is great. The second one's name is Gully Gop. He hides in gullies, waiting for an opportunity to sneak into the cowshed and steal milk.
I'm sorry. We're seeing a pattern here with the animals, and I'm getting a little.
Yeah, okay. Well, the next one's name is Stubby. He's abnormally short. Great. He steals pans for the food baked in the bottoms and brims. Oh my gosh. The one that comes today is even better.
God. Oh God.
The one that's supposed to come today, his name is Spoon Licker.
Okay.
He steals wooden spoons being used for cooking. He's extremely thin from malnutrition.
He would be nowadays. He'd show up and be like, why is no one cooking? And everyone's like,
oh my gosh,
get the dishes.
This is great. So the next one that comes on December 16th is Pot Scraper.
Oh my God. Oh, does he do dishes?
To scrape out the leftovers. Maybe he should share that with Spoon Licker.
Yeah, these guys actually sound like they're doing the dishes. So, sure. Yeah,
well, the next one that comes on December 17th is Bowl Licker. He hides under beds, awaiting the wooden food bowls placed on the floor.
What?
I don't know.
I think he's got the wrong bowls that were placed on the floor or under the bed. You don't want to lick those bowls out. That's not chocolate pudding.
So the next one on December 18th is door slammer. He enjoys slamming doors, especially during the night, waking up the household.
Wow.
On December 19th, Skyr gobbler. Has a great affinity for Skyr, a regional style of yogurt.
Oh my God.
Yeah, well, the one that comes on December 20th is sausage swiper. Hides in the rafters. He hides in the rafters and snatches sausages that are being smoked.
Oh, little shit. Yeah. Okay. Now they're getting nasty.
December 21st is window peeper. A snoop who looks through the windows in search of things to steal.
Oh my gosh.
December 22nd is doorway sniffer. Has an abnormally large nose and an acute sense of smell, which he uses to locate bread. December 23rd is meat hook. He uses a hook to steal meat.
Okay, that's a little creepy, sure.
December 24th is candle beggar. He follows children to steal their precious candles, made of tallow and thus edible.
I didn't know you make candles out of tallow.
How is this supposed to scare children when it makes us laugh?
Exactly. Like, imagine you see some guy with a big nose in your door, sniffing your door frame. You'd be like, actually, that would be scary.
How are you supposed to tell a child? Listen up, little Johnny. You better be good because spoon licker's coming tonight. Like,
I don't know.
Fuck.
Or the sheep shagger or whatever the first one was. Like, who gives a shit? The kids would be like,
sausage swiper. Oh my God. Don't ask me where I found this stuff.
Yeah. So, you're on the wrong website.
Apparently. Oh my God, no.
Oh dear.
So let's just totally jump right into Krampus because
now this is Krampus is the scary one.
Yeah, well, so Krampus is a German folklore. He is a horned anthropomorphic. I can't even say this. Anthropomorphic figure.
Okay.
It's animal.
Yeah, half animal, half human. There we go.
And it's from the Central and Eastern Alpine folklore tradition. It is said that he accompanies Saint Nicholas on visits to children on the night of December 5th, which they call Krampus night or Krampus Snotch. I don't speak German, so I apologize for my awful pronunciation. And this is done before the Feast of St. Nicholas, which is on December 6th. In this tradition, St. Nicholas rewards well-behaved children with small gifts, and Krampus punishes badly behaved ones with birch rods.
Okay.
Yeah. So the origins of this figure is unclear, but some folklorists and anthropologists have said that it may have gone back to pre-Christian origins. Obviously.
Of course. So
although Krampus appears in many different types of body styles, his most common physical characteristics is that he's hairy, usually brown or black, and has one foot that has the cloven hooves and horns of a goat. He's got a long, pointed tongue that drops out, and he has fangs. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Sounds like most people in Oshawa.
Yeah.
No. It also is said that he carries chains, not changs, thought to symbolize the binding of the devil by the Christian church. So now all of a sudden he's Christian.
Yeah, where did that come from?
I have no idea. I didn't think they would. I don't know. Not for this, I didn't think. But he thrashes the chains for dramatic effect.
Oh.
So the chains are sometimes accompanied with bells of various sizes. He also carries a bundle of birch branches, which he occasionally swats children.
And that would hurt.
The birch branches are replaced with a whip in some representation. So Either way, he's beating someone with a stick.
The chains are interesting because chains are also in the Christmas Carol. Like, I was going to say Bob Marley. What's the name? Jacob Marley. Not Bob Marley. That's a whole different Christmas song. But or Jacob Marley is all like in chains and rattles chains and stuff. So I guess that's like a
it's got to be something.
Thing.
I could just see the Muppets in my head.
Me too.
And so it says, now on Christmas Eve, Krampus travels with a sack or a basket strapped to his back. This is to cart off evil children for drowning, eating, or transport to hell.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. See, that would be scary. Not the friggin' fridge sniffer or whatever we've got going on in the other ones.
Sausage.
Yeah. Those ones are like, whatever. But this guy, yeah. I could see
a little more scary than these
here.
little weird, creepy elves that are emaciated and licking bowls. We could make new ones. Window licker.
There you go. I still like our doll in the hall.
Yeah.
Thing. I think that's a new marketing thing.
Yeah. So next on my folklore list is La Befana. And this is from an Italian folklore and folk custom. So the Befana is, or Befana, I don't know. Again, I don't speak Italian. So my pronunciation is probably awful and way off. But the Befana is a witch-like old woman who delivers gifts to children throughout Italy on Epiphany Eve, which is the night of January 5th, in a similar way to Santa Claus. So this Befana is a widespread tradition among Italians, and it has many, many names. She is part of both popular national culture and traditional folk culture, and is akin to other figures who roam about sometime during the 12 days. And reward the good, punish the bad, and receive offerings. The Befana is a mysterious, contradictory figure, and her origins are unclear. So she is usually portrayed as a hag, riding a broomstick through the air, wearing a black shawl, and is covered in soot because she enters the children's houses through the chimney.
Oh.
She is often smiling and carries a bag or hamper filled with candy, gifts, or both. She is not only loved, but also feared and mocked, particularly by children.
What?
Yeah.
So they mock her, even though she's like, I've got some candy. Those little dicks.
It's a witch. Have you ever seen what happens to people who do that?
Exactly.
So in traditional Italian folklore, she is portrayed as having ember eyes, sharp feline teeth, a sharp and cutting tongue, and a sooty face from the chimney she enters to get into the houses. It is said that she wears rags, a headscarf, and carries a broom and a sack or basket that she keeps her gifts in. So children, go on.
Well, I was going to say, so I'm sorry, is she actually nice? Or is she's like nice except when the kids are dicks and then she's not nice?
I don't know. It says children must not watch her as she visits and delivers items, or they are in serious danger as she does not like being watched. Okay. And they say that if the Befana catches someone watching her, they will receive a playful thump on the shoulder from her broomstick.
All right.
I don't know. I guess she's good either way. You're getting something.
I don't understand. She's like the female. So Santa, of course, is this like fun male guy, and then the female has to be this dirty old haggerty biatch.
She's a witch.
She's like, don't look at me, but she does the same thing.
This stuff's weird. I don't know how that's supposed to scare children into being good. Don't worry, you can mock her. She'll just give you something anyways.
Yeah, she'll just hit you with her broom. Yeah. Oh, kids, I'm gonna fuck you up.
So the next one that I have is called Frau Perchta. She's also known as Bertha, and has sometimes been called the spinning room lady. She's often depicted, again, with a beaked nose, because now she's a witch, made of iron, dressed in rags, perhaps carrying a cane, and generally resembles a decrepit old crone. She also is said to carry a long knife hidden under her skirt.
Oh, what? I'm not going to go into where she's keeping that under her skirt. Okay.
So,
do what you got to do, girl.
sometimes she's also depicted in good form, which is she's portrayed as a pale-skinned, beautiful young woman with light hair, and it is believed that this form is what she appears to good people as, while the ugly old woman form is used to frighten bad people before she mutilates and probably kills them.
Okay. Well, yeah, I see it.
So this is kind of like from Bavaria and Austria, like this folklore. So in this part of the world, Perchta was said to roam the countryside at midwinter and to enter homes during the 12 days between Christmas and Epiphany, usually on the 12th night. She would know whether the children and young servants of the household had behaved well and worked hard all year. If they had, they might find a small silver or gold coin the next day in a shoe or pail. If they had not, she would slit their bellies open, remove their stomach and guts, and stuff the whole with straw and pebbles.
Bit extreme. Bit extreme.
There's no in between here.
Yeah, there's not anything. It's just like,
yeah. She was particularly concerned to see that girls had spun the whole of their allotted portion of flax or wool during the year. She would also slit people's bellies open and stuff them with straw if they ate something on the night of her feast day other than the traditional meal of fish and gruel.
okay. So fish and gruel or stomach ripped open. That's a tough one.
Just I don't know where these things come from. Like I would love to know how this these stories originated, like these folklore stories. Like where did this come from? Like I say, with every urban legend and stuff, there's some form of truth in there. It's just finding out where that truth is, and then you build on that story, right?
Exactly.
What's the truth in this one?
Jeez.
Oh my gosh. So I shouldn't really lie. This next one actually does come from South Wales.
Okay.
So it's called the Mary. It's pronounced Mary Lloyd. This doesn't look like it. It is a wassailing folk custom found in South Wales. The tradition entails the use of oh my god. The tradition entails the use of an eponymous hobby horse, which is made from a horse's skull, mounted on a pole, and carried by an individual hidden under a sheet.
Okay. Shit.
You're like,
Yeah.
So the Mary Lloyd itself consists of a horse's skull that is decorated with ribbons and affixed to a pole. To the back of the skull is attached a white sheet, which drapes down to conceal both the pole and the individual carrying the device. It says on occasion the horse's head was represented not by a skull, but instead made from wood or even paper. In some instances, the horse's jaw was able to open and close as a result of a string or lever attached to it, and there are accounts of pieces of glass being affixed into the eye sockets, representing eyes. So the custom was first recorded in the 1800s.
And this is a Christmas tradition.
Yeah. So it gets even better. So the Mary Lloyd was a tradition performed at Christmas time by groups of men who would accompany the horse on its travels around the local area. And although the makeup of such groups varied, they typically included an individual to carry the horse, a leader, and individuals dressed as stock characters such as Punch and Judy. The men would carry the Mary Lloyd to local houses where they would request entry through song. Yes, they were singing. The householders would be expected to deny them entry again through song.
Don't
the
come
two
in
sides,
here, you fucking weirdos.
again, the two sides would continue their responses to one another in this manner. So if the householders eventually relented, the team would be permitted entry and given food and drink. So once inside, the entertainment continued with the Mari Lloyd running around, neighing and snapping its jaws, creating havoc, frightening children and perhaps even adults, while the leader pretended to try to restrain it. The merry men played music and entertained the householders.
The fuck?
Let's do, you know what? If you
Oh
did that
my
today,
God.
your neighbors would call the police on you.
You'd be shot, I think. Imagine showing up with a horse's head on a pole and being like, "Can we come into your house to fucking dance around?" They'd be like, "Pow, pow, pow." Yeah.
Then you
And
become your own Christmas ghost story.
exactly.
Oh
The
my
sad thing is, if you did that in downtown Oshawa, no one would bat an eye. They'd just be like, "Yeah, that's every day."
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
what happens around here.
Oh my
How
God. So
weird.
that is some of the stuff that I was able to dig up for this creepy podcast for Christmas.
I feel like there's so many weird things. Actually, that's a great thing. If you have a weird tradition or story, let us know,
Yeah.
because what? I'm sure there's really weird ones out there. People are like, "Oh yeah, that's what we used to do with butt liquor and fart smeller or whatever."
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh shit. Why did I even say those ones?
I know.
Those are the
We're
best.
never. Oh my God, they're hilarious.
Oh shit. But yeah, just like Kaz says, if you've got any, weird Christmas traditions or ghost stories, or you know of anything that we haven't talked about, send us a message. Email. Post. We'd love to hear it. Maybe look into it a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I guess that's all we got for this round.
Yes, we've got to get ready for Christmas
Yay.
in our own way.
Which not much.
Yeah. Bag of Quality Street and every other kind of chocolate I can find. That's my tradition.
There you go. There you go.
Mhm.
So again, if you guys have a story, want to share anything, suggestions, topics, questions, whatever, give us an email at paranormalpodcast@gmail.com. It's PAREHNORMAL podcast@gmail.com. You can also check us out on our Facebook. Just look up Paranormal Podcast, Instagram too, Paranormal Podcast. Yeah, you can find us on TikTok, wherever. We're around. But yeah,
Yeah.
we are. I don't know for sure if we're gonna have any podcasts over the next couple weeks because it is Christmas and we get busy. Christmas.
Mm-hmm. Doing our thing.
Yeah, so stay tuned. We will be back in the new year, or maybe even the end of the year if we are bored and we need to discuss stuff. We need a break from Christmas.
Yes.
But yeah, so stay tuned. We will be back with a whole other slew of new topics. And yeah, so have a great Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Yes.
Happy New
Merry
Year.
Christmas.
Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Festivus.
Yes.
And
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfuckers.
don't forget your doll in the hall tonight.
Do it.
Doll in the
We've
hall.
got to market that next year.
See, I
Terrify
got
children.
tons of porcelain dolls. Tons. Got it. All right, everyone. Have a great one.
Bye.
Bye.